Hi everyone, welcome to Tuesday TNT and thank you for dropping in. Let's go to our first story today. We've got quite a lot to talk about and here's the story. This is from Calsod English Facebook page. Good news story to start with. Diving instructor from the Toy Tour named Off said a whale shark was spotted while he took tourists sailing out to a dive in the area. In the Rayong province, or off the coast there. The whale shark swam there for 5 hours before leaving. Divers were very happy with the experience, and that posted on the Calsod English Facebook page. Some great video there, and there's quite a lot more on that video if you want to track it down. Now, I do have quite a lot of stories to get to, and I mentioned yesterday that I'd talk about this. Thai PBS World reporting here that 32 suspects have been held for alleged connections with the Macau 888 online gambling operations. So what is this Macau 888 gambling operations? I thought this story might help us find out. Police from Thailand's Cybercrime Investigation Bureau have arrested 32 people alleged to be linked to the Macau 888 online gambling and money laundering operations. Separately, police searched a warehouse in Bangkok. They found one supercar, a Lamborghini Mad Bull Liberty Walk Aventador V2, the only one in Thailand out of a total of 50 worldwide, and the limited edition vehicle valued around 44 million baht plus 3 million baht in accessories was impounded. The car is believed to belong to a 37-year-old called Chai Wat, also known as Ben's Demon. And police say that more raids will be conducted because there are over 40 locations believed to have been used for illegal activities. We still don't know exactly what these illegal activities are. The 32 suspects detained worked in various capacities. Some were page administrators, others handled financial affairs, or were responsible for bank accounts opened by individuals in return for rewards from the scam gangs. And then on Saturday night, as we reported yesterday, police searched a Bangkok pub known to be a favourite hangout of a key suspect in the case. This is Ben's Demon. To look for evidence. And down the bottom there, according to the police, Benz and his younger brother, identified as Bright, left Thailand, reportedly for Hong Kong January the 16th. Only Bright, who's a police officer based at Suvarnabhumi Airport, returned to Thailand on February the 1st. He was detained at the airport police station for 7 days for travelling abroad without authorisation. So I get to the end of that article and really none the wiser exactly what the scam was, but obviously Macau 888 coming to the attention of police, some 32 people now in custody, and they're still looking for Ben's Demon. And I've got a funny feeling, where's a picture of that car? Certainly doesn't look anything like my Honda. Right, to our next story, also talking transportation, but a little bit more sedate. And The Nation Thailand reports that Thailand kickstarts a delayed 276 billion rail project to link the 3 airports. The State Railway of Thailand says it hopes to finalise the joint investment contract for the high-speed rail project, linking the airports soon, after a delay of over 2 years due to COVID, and the SRTs amending the contract signed by the government with Charoen Pokphand. They're the people who would be constructing the high-speed railway, which would link Don Mueang, Suvarnabhumi and U-Tapao airports. And the contract with Asia Era 1, they're the people who would actually run the railway itself, is still pending as both parties are discussing compensation for reduced passenger volume at on the airport rail link. So they must be the people running the link from Suvarnabhumi Airport, sort of parallel with Phetchaburi Road, all the way through to Pattaya in the middle of the city. And so those negotiations are ongoing. The subcommittee will also address other issues that could further delay the project, such as structural overlap with the link from Don Mueang to the national rail hub at Bang Su and allocation of public waterways around the Makassar station. It looks like there's plenty of work to be done, and there's some wishful thinking coming up. And then it says that Asia Era 1 is awaiting BOI approval. That's one of the prerequisites stipulated in the contract. And down the bottom there, the State Rail Authority has already prepared construction sites on the Suvarnabhumi U-Tapao section, which it will deliver once the contract's finalised, blah, blah, blah. So it looks like there's certainly plenty of work to be done. Just a quote here, we hope that the subcommittee will finish amending the contract soon and let the construction start so that it's completed within the 2026 deadline. Only 3 years to go. Where exactly is this? Check out this map. I think it explains it quite well. And you see it goes from Mueang up the top there, the old airport, and through the Eastern Economic Zone, through Chonburi, Srirasha, Pattaya, and then down to U-Tapao Airport in Rayong. And then this section just going through Bangkok, starts at Don Mueang Airport, through Bang Sue, Makassan Airport link, and then the Suvarnabhumi Airport before it starts then heading south through the Eastern Economic Corridor and down through Pattaya and Rayong. So 3 years, I think we're going to be waiting a little bit longer for that high-speed rail, but that will certainly be a bit of a game changer for people travelling from the airports and getting from one part of the city to another. High-speed rail too. Look forward to it. And next story, also about transport from Pattaya to Hua Hin. The bus will run twice a day from February the 19th. And this story from the PattayaNews.com. And the schedule will be from Hua Hin at 9 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then from Pattaya to Hua Hin, it'll be 8 a.m. in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I presume. And then down the bottom there, tickets will be 473 baht each. That service starting twice a day from February the 19th. Now, with thanks to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine, there's a link in the description under this video, and they're worth contacting if you'd be interested in going in a private tour to any of the islands off Phuket on a private boat tour. Also, there's a link to our auction, which is going very well. I think we've raised about 80,000 baht already for Seeds of Change. They've turned my old crazy Hawaiian and Songkran shirts into these beautiful toy elephants. There's some more there behind. There's a little keychain version there. So that link is also in the description if you'd like to find out more about that. You're watching TNT on a Tuesday. Now, this story often discussed who spends more when they come to Thailand. And interestingly, it's been reported from VN Express, which is a Vietnamese publication. And it says that American tourists spend more money than Europeans in Thailand, according to a survey. So up the top there, Americans spend an average of about $2,887 per person during their trip to Thailand. European visitors, they spend a paltry $2,684. Not a lot of difference, really. US tourists spend an average of 2,000 to 3,000 baht on accommodation a night, and they always stay up about an average of 15 days per trip. Now, they polled 200 Western tourists during the final quarter of last year, and the survey also showed that European tourists spend 1,000 to 2,000 baht per night on accommodation, and they stay on average for 13 days. Now, this is interesting that in Vietnam, foreign tourists spent $117 a night. How does that translate? Well, if you divide the US 2,887 by the average of 15 days for their stay, it comes to $192.47. So it looks like foreign tourists spend an average of $117.80 a night, but Americans, they spend $192.47 in Thailand, which is of interest. And according to the VNExpress.net, Vietnam welcomed a record 18 million foreign tourists in 2019, and that compares to Thailand's nearly 40 million tourists that it had in 2019, which was a record for Thai tourism. So interesting story there. Who does spend the most? In the past, it's also been shown that Chinese tourists, even though they only stay an average of 3 to 5 days each, they spend more per day than all the other tourists. So it'd be interesting to see if we can get some more information which is a bit more up to date. This next story from Coconuts Bangkok, coconuts.co. Tensions flare between Ukrainians and Russians in Thailand. And it's actually quite a long and meandering story, so I'll just get to the highlights and speak about the issue at hand. Alex was walking back along Phuket's Bang Tao beach last December after watching the World Cup finals when a friend waved him over to the Little Paris restaurant. Now, my understanding is the Little Paris restaurant's in Cheung Chile, which is a bit of a walk from Bang Tao Beach. So just abbreviating this story, he was confused when after a few minutes of conversation, a female customer at the restaurant that Alex identified as Russian and visibly drunk started calling him a Nazi until she pointed out that his shirt was printed with the emblem of a controversial Ukrainian military unit. A gift, he said, came from a friend at the Ukrainian embassy. So just cutting that story short, and you can go to coconuts.co and read the whole transcript. But this is the issue here. 8,000 kilometres from their war-ravaged home, Alex and other Ukrainians living in Thailand say they're being harassed and made to feel unsafe by members of the much larger Russian community residing or visiting the kingdom. Like it's around about 100 to 1. So there's a lot more Russians here than Ukrainians. I was unaware at this stage that there'd been any conflict between the two groups here in Thailand, but this story would paint a different picture. Their anger and discomfort has been fed in recent days by a series of brazen social media messages posted by Russians that have celebrated the invasion and derided the Ukrainian expat community. And a Instagram page called different.phuket said the main benefit of living in Phuket is that there are very few Ukrainians here, almost none. While they are in the trenches, we're getting some rest. Clearly dreadful things to be saying in any social media anywhere, but dragging the conflict over here to the land of smiles, I think is totally unnecessary. Story goes on to say that Phuket has long hosted large numbers of Russian residents and visitors, but arrivals exploded as international travel resumed in the shadow of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Their international sanctions limiting Russian travel options has matched well with Thailand's thirst for tourists. In November, nearly 170,000 Russians travelled to Phuket, a number equivalent to 40% of the island's population. That's a bit of a magic number because 40% of the current arrivals in Phuket over the past 2 months have been from Russia, a concentration of one nationality that we've never had before. Now, that 40% can't be mapped out right across Thailand, but the number of Russians arriving in Thailand certainly isn't below 30% of all nationalities. And finally, one woman who didn't want to be identified, she said that she felt the aggression and hostility visited upon her homeland had followed her to Thailand. So I think it's a little bit unfair when we've got people dragging their international conflict along with their holidays, and I'd like to think that people from both Ukraine and Russia just leave their conflicts at home and let the people in their homelands fight it out and leave their comments out of social media and fueling any discontent while they're meant to be here on holiday. This is TNT, and our next story talking about people arriving in Thailand. This story beggars belief, and it's published in calsodenglish.com. Customs scraps baggage inspections for arriving travellers. Huh? And let's find out more. The Customs Department yesterday said arriving travellers are no longer required to open their bags for inspection of personal belongings. The Customs spokesperson said the new policy, which is now effective at all customs checkpoints, aims to provide convenience to tourists. Travellers may walk through the Green Channel without having to declare valuable items exceeding the duty-free allowance if they're brought in for personal use. Well, how will they know if they don't check them, even random checks? Customs officers will not conduct inspections of arriving tourists, even though they're carrying a luxury handbag or wearing a multi-million baht watch if these items are imported for personal use and not for commercial trade. We want to provide convenience, not to cause difficulties to tourists entering Thailand. So no customs checks if you come to Thailand. Well, let's just check the details. Apparently, a person coming to Thailand is allowed to bring in 20,000 baht, a total of 200 cigarettes, or 250 grams of tobacco, and a litre of alcoholic beverage, without having to pay for duty, but inspections will be carried out if officials have a reason to believe the traveller is smuggling luxury goods for use. So it does look like there's going to be at least some sort of random checking. Fancy customs anywhere in the world not checking passengers, at least doing random checks, or just popping their bags through an X-ray as they depart the airport. And finally, the new policy would be applied to both Thai and foreign nationals. Bizarre story from customs in Thailand. That reported in calsodenglish.com. And to the Bangkok Post, more travel stories as we travel down to Phuket, and a travel agent's knife attack on a Chinese tourist captured on TikTok. Well, of course it was. And a Phuket travel agent has been seen attacking a Chinese tourist in a TikTok video, claimed he punched her first in a dispute over a refund. And the video shows a dispute between the Chinese tourist and the Thai woman berating him in Thai. She then kicks him and cuts his arm with a small knife. I think it's just totally unnecessary to show the video. You can go and find it if you want to see it. According to reports, the 36-year-old tourist paid a 5,000 baht deposit for a 9,000 baht tour package for his family from the Blue Ocean Travel Company for a one-day trip to the Similan Islands. Now, I have to say, for those people who want to see the Similan Islands and are staying in Phuket, you've got around about a 2-hour bus trip just to get to the pier before you even head out to the Similan Islands. So if you're doing a day trip to the Similans, you'll be doing a lot more road travel than you will boat travel, just so you know. So the story down the bottom claiming there the tour agency did not show up on January the 31st as arranged, and the tourist could not reach the travel agent, believed he'd been scammed. He reported the case to the Karon police station, expecting authorities to help him get his money back, but the travel agency only agreed to refund him 3,400 of the 5,000 baht deposit. Dissatisfied with the police handling of his complaint, the tourist approached the agency directly to demand the return of the full deposit. Then later yesterday, according to the Bangkok Post story, the local branch of the tourism department suspended the license of the tour firm for 6 months for damaging Thai culture and tourism. There's a lot more sort of ins and outs and details in the story, which I don't think are necessary to go through at the moment. Tourist police, however, told the Tourism and Sports Ministry a different story. They said the Chinese tourist and the travel agent misunderstood the meeting location, causing the group to miss the trip. Oh dear, another misunderstanding. And the Chinese tourist left the country on February the 2nd. So we may or may not hear more about that, but not a good look when a tour guide starts attacking a tourist with a knife, and that fracas caught on TikTok. Let's go to our next story, and also in the Southern Islands. And 9 Swedish tourists survive after a boat capsizes in Krabi. This happened in Phang Nga Bay, which is between Phuket and the mainland area of Krabi. And the head of the national park said the incident happened near Hong Island. Rescue teams went to the scene to find 9 male and female Swedish nationals and the boat captain in the sea near the longtail boat, which was capsized. They were all rescued and taken back to land. It's been reported that the tourists were taking photos on one side of the boat, which caused the boat to lean over. Water leaked into the boat before it capsized. They were all wearing life jackets. Well, glad to see they were wearing life jackets. Probably saved them from any further harm. Well, glad to see they were wearing life jackets. Now, those long-tail boats, they're fun for a quick trip, but if there's any waves, they can be very wet. You've also got that... hello, Dina. Talking to the elephants there. Make yourself comfortable. So, yes, those long-tail boats, if you do get on one side or the other, they can be pretty tippy. Also note that they've got that V8 engine hanging off the back of the boat, so they can be pretty noisy as well. And finally, Calsod English, their Facebook page, the full moon party in Koh Pha Ngan has finally drawn back the number of pre-pandemic tourists in recent months. And a video there showing people having a damn fine night. Some 20,000 people apparently turned up for the full moon party on Sunday night, and also reporting that the numbers were pretty much back to pre-pandemic numbers. They used to get around about, I think, 30,000 people to Hua Hin for the full moon party. Anyway, good to see that party picking back up and back to form. And with that, as Dina settles down for a bit of a sleep, thank you for watching. Don't forget we've got our toy elephant auction. These elephants made by the people down there at Seeds of Change. Every single cent that you donate to buy one of these 30 elephants, we've got the large, we've got the tiny, and we've got, Dina's not for sale, and we've got the two other sizes, the medium and small, down the back there. So if you follow the directions in the link in the description, it'll tell you how you can bid online and make one of these all your very, very own. Maybe a bit of a collector's item. Thanks for dropping in today. Thank you also to everybody, because we nudged over 17,000 subscribers. Not bad in 7 months for a little news channel. So I promise to keep on doing my best, and I can only do it because you drop in each day to catch up with the latest news. Hopefully we've brought you up to date today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.